What's up YouTube, at 6 here, and today I'm gonna bring you guys a deck profile on the new Ultra Athletes. It's a pretty fun deck to play, but it's not fast, or it's not as consistent as I would like it to be. Alright, here goes. For starters, you have 3 UA Mighty Slugger, which is pretty much your beater of the deck. He's like an Armades. When he declares attack, your opponent cannot activate any cards or effects until the end of damage step, which pretty much stops all those cards that get destroyed, like Yang Zings and some Shaddoll cards. So it's pretty. I think Dante and what's his name? Virtual also stops all those pesky effects. So it's pretty good. Also, it's another effect that all UA monsters share is they could basically swap each other out for another UA from your hand. So it makes it a lot easier for it to get summoned. So next is UA Perfect Ace, which is another UA monster that's pretty hard for them to get around. Usually they always do beat it. Like, I always summon him on board. His effect is kind of annoying for other players because during your opponent's turn they cannot activate, like once per turn during your opponent's turn I could pitch a card and negate any effects, like a Solemn, but it's pretty good. But most of the times it's just annoying because they have multiple cards of the card they need. Like they'll play Shaddoll Fusion, and I was like, oh, okay, negate, and it's like another Shaddoll Fusion. And I was like, well, I just lost my Perfect Ace. But it's pretty good. If your opponent has a bad hand, they can't really do anything, and it just allows for you to get more field advantage. Okay, so the next UA monster would be UA Midfielder, which is basically the boss card of the deck, the MVP, because without him you can't even summon any of your UA monsters, because he's the one that you normal summon and then you activate Stadium's effect, which is their field spell, and that allows you to kind of search out your UAs from your graveyard, from your deck. I'm sorry. I wish if the next set had another level 4 UA, then this deck would probably be pretty competitive. It's already competitive, it's just it's kind of iffy. Okay, so the next one will be Goalkeeper, which it's 3 goalkeepers, which once per turn during your opponent's turn, it could protect 1 UA monster. So it's like a Spark Dragon's effect. It's pretty good if you're just playing the stall game because it has 28 defense, but it doesn't synchronize well with the deck because it's level 6. Other than that, it's pretty good defense. I wish it was a level 5. And for spell cards, I have 3 UA Stadiums, which is basically the card you want to have on the field. People MST this card, and if you don't have another one, basically they kind of cripple this deck because you constantly want to keep getting your UA cards from your deck, so you could kind of be able to pitch cards for Ace, but it's not a problem because you know I am running 3 Terraforming. So next we'll have UA Power Jersey, which is like super good in this deck. If you guys don't know, it's like you equip it to a UA monster, any battle damage it does to your opponent, it doubles, plus it gains it 1000 attack strength and defense. So it's and also if you destroy a monster, you could make a second attack, which is pretty good because if you have Slugger with this, they can't activate effects and you basically just running over everything. So also UA Stadium, if for UA Stadium, if you special summon, um, if a UA monster is special summon on your side of the field, all monsters you currently control gains 500 attacks. So basically, just it adds up. If you manage to keep like one of your UA monsters in the board, and it kind of gives that. I kind of use it on Slugger most of the time. Special summon Slugger by swapping the UA monsters, and it just gives it 28 plus power jersey, and it just goes instantly to 38. So you have a 38 monster that can attack, and your opponent can activate their card effects during battle damage. So you can swing basically twice. So it's basically their attack force, I guess. Alright, and now for Mother Spell cards, 3 Misties, because I hit back rows, 3 Terraformings, because I wanna have, this card has never clogged in my hand, ever. They always MST your stadium, and you always want to have your stadium. So, reinforcements, 3 reinforcements, 3 Monarch Stormforce, kind of thinking of cutting it to 2 because they always lance it, and I always activate it. They always lance their monster, and it's kind of annoying because then you kind of dead on the water because you can't tribute your own monsters. Most of the time you have your high level monsters, so it's kind of, that's what I meant by saying that this deck is not consistent because you can't get your monsters out because they're pretty high. So if it has another UA level 4 monster, it'll probably be more competitive. I'm running 3 because I really don't want to mess with this deck yet, so I just left it at 3, but 2 would be perfect. 1 Soul Charge and 3 Feast of the Wild, which is basically special summon up to 2 level 5 warrior monsters from your hand or graveyard, but their effects are negated and also cannot attack, which basically doesn't really harm you. This works really well with your level 5s. Like, well, it's meant for your level 5s, but it works really well in this deck because even if they get special summon, you kind of swap your UA monsters from hand to field, so their effects you just regain them again. I opted to run 2 because I have Soul Charge, and I'd rather have 2 Soul Charge than 3 Feast of the Wilds, which I think it's a perfect number. 3 was too cloggy. For trap cards, 2 Mirror Force and 1 Compulse. I kind of want to get these cards out for Black Horn of Heavens, but I haven't really gotten Black Horn of Heavens. Until I do, I'm just running that. 1 Breakthrough Skill and 3 Baron Guard Howlings, which I wish there were like at least 2 Royal Decrees, but I don't have Royal Decrees, so I'm running these. Just to keep the deck at just to complete the deck basically, because I haven't really tweaked it. I'm not gonna work on it until maybe more support comes out of it. Until then, it's just like a budget build. So that's it for the deck. I'm sorry it's taking too long, so I'll try to explain it instead of just doing the deck profile. And for your extra deck, you don't really need them. Basically, you want your UAs on the field. You don't want to overlay or anything. Leo, just in case they skill prison you. 101. You kind of do need a 101, or preferably 101, or Castell. You don't need this card, but he's there if you have him. You don't need this card because you're probably better off, but he's there because just to build the deck, finish, just to have something. Try to trade for a keeper, Tyrese, a keeper, but Um, Ultimately, I didn't do the trade because I traded for something else. Other than that, that's UA's. Hopefully, I'll do an updated deck profile as soon as it gets more support. I'll probably make it more competitive, maybe a side deck, but until then, it's just basically a budget deck. Alright, guys, laters.